Hello, everyone. Welcome along to our first virtual press conference for the WNBL. It's great to have you on the call this afternoon. For those of you who are joining us, of course, we ask for you to keep your microphone on mute for the time being until we address you for your turn for questioning. On your screen there, you'll see a raise your hand button. If you have any questions for our players, simply raise your hand, and after your questions have been asked, click that button again to put your hand back down, and we'll get through as many people as we possibly can. How it's all going to work, players are going to pop through in 15-minute windows, and you'll have the chance to ask as many questions as possible in that time. And once that 15 minutes is up, they will be out, and we'll move on to the next. And now is the time to raise your hand if you want to ask any questions to our first person who is going to jump in the hot seat is Gemma Potter. Great to have you here this afternoon joining us.
Thank you.
So, of course, new to Geelong, but you've been playing in WNBL for a little while now, working through some injuries, though, in your previous WNBL season. So kind of nice to be having a full pre-season and getting into a new season for you.
Yeah, this is my 6th year in the league, but only ever played two seasons fully. So I've had 2 ACLs. So just coming back from that has been pretty special to be able to build with this group for the full pre-season, and then, hopefully get another healthy season under my belt.
Yeah, fantastic. So if anyone's got any questions, feel free to chuck that raise your hand button up, and we'll throw straight to you because we've got no one in the queue at the moment. So if you're ready to go, we'll get going from there.
Hey, Gemma, thanks again for your time. And we're really excited about the coming season. You mentioned those injuries. I guess just looking back on them now, what did you learn from that experience, and how has it sort of held you in good stead?
Yeah, definitely took a lot from them. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but definitely a lot of things to learn from it. I think I realised life's bigger than basketball and putting a ball in a hole. So I think I got an appreciation for everything outside of life. My family was there for me throughout both of the knees. So I really, got a great gratitude for life and what else is outside of basketball, because as everyone knows, basketball isn't a job for life. So I got to kind of put my fingers in different things and what I would like, and went from there.
Did you ever sort of consider maybe walking away, and what did you put your energies into which you might not have been able to if you were fully fit?
Yeah, I definitely considered walking away. I think that was definitely when I was trying to learn to walk again after my second ACL. I think that's when I probably was at my lowest, and learning how to go to the toilet again. I had to, have my mum there every step of the way, just lifting me up and down off the toilet seat. So when you're pretty vulnerable in that situation, it kind of, you wonder if it's worth it, but definitely is worth it. I got a dog during my rehab, which was probably one of the best things. So now I have a little best friend for life that comes with me to all my seasons. So that's probably the best thing to come from it, to be honest.
Yeah, fantastic. Any study or working in another field which had nothing to do with basketball?
Yeah, I have had a lot of random jobs here and there. I was a receptionist at a dermatologist. I did some IT work with one of our sponsors from my UC team, worked in childcare, worked for the government at some stage. So, I've done a fair random things here and there to fill up time.
Vinny, we'll hand over to you next.
Awesome. Hi, Gemma. Nice to meet you. In terms of, I guess, coming into a new side like Geelong United, obviously you've spent a few years at Canberra, not necessarily coming down to this neck of the woods, but has it all come around really quickly since kind of the team formed itself and I guess rebranded itself in a sense to now being only a few days away from round one? How has it all kind of been over the last few months?
Yeah, definitely been a whirlwind. I think no one really knew if it was going to come around. There was rumours here and there, but I think when Geelong got their licence, it all happened pretty quickly, and then there was calls being made, agents getting involved, and we were signing contracts within a couple of weeks. So life changed pretty quickly, but I'm really happy that it did, and that I've ended up down here. I'm loving the group, loving the town, really making it a second home.
And in terms of, I guess, a next chapter in your career, Ben's kind of touched on it already in terms of overcoming that adversity with your injuries. But seeing, I guess, this next season, seeing it as a next step in your career, how exciting is that for you? And how well have you gelled with the new group of girls as well heading into this season?
Yeah, I'm really excited, I think, for myself and for the team. I think from a personal level, I'm just really excited to have another healthy season. I think last season was about gaining confidence and seeing, just trusting my body again. And then this season is really taking a step forward from that and putting myself in situations to succeed for the team and for personal as well. And yeah, gelling with the team. A few of us lived at the AIS together. So there's about 4 of us that have all played in junior teams, national teams. So we've all kind of had history and chemistry with each other in the past, but just rebuilding that, it's been pretty special, and I think we're doing a really good job of it.
Awesome. And also just touching on what I mentioned before, just with your time at the Capitals, obviously they were the benchmark of the league for a few years there prior to the pandemic as well. You'd know probably better than anyone aside from Keely Froling, but she's going to be going up against their twin sister straight off the bat to open the season. Has there been any chatter around that to this point? And I guess what do you suspect Townsville's going to throw at you for first cab off the rank?
Yeah, I don't think there hasn't been too much talk. I think just the usual. Probably pretty handy that we know the scout pretty well, seeing it is a twin. I think not too much talk first round. We're just trying to do what we can do. The lucky thing with us, they haven't been able to scout us. So no team in the league knows what we're going to do. It's all a real fresh start. So that's a pretty good experience for us, and we can really use that to our advantage. And
how has the transition been, taking on new coaching, Chris Lucas? What's he been like to you to this point? And I guess how knowledgeable has he been in the preparation for the start of the season?
Yeah, he's been awesome. Chris's teams have been one of the hardest to play against my whole time in the league, just because of how smart he is on and off the court and how well, he can use his game plan to execute and get looks for every single player in his team. So being a part of that's pretty special, and I think, it's working really well.
Thank you, Vinny. Paul, over to you.
Hey, Gemma. I'm really curious. You've come from a team that's got, let's be honest, a pretty rabid fan base to a brand new team. Have you guys, as a team, got a feel for how the community is gathering around the team?
Yeah, it's been pretty special. I think being in Canberra and, being that only professional team, we kind of did get the support from a lot of the community. Here I think is no different, but it just we have other female sports playing as well. So it's pretty cool to see that they're able to spread, I guess, that care for women's sport and show up for us in different ways. We have our family day coming up in a few weeks. So yeah, hopefully we get to meet the community and really build a good relationship with them, because at the end of the day, we're not just playing for us, we're playing for them and all the other young girls out there.
Yeah, because it is a new team, and you've come from what is, a really well-established team. For you as a player, how do you find the differences between those two environments?
Not too. I don't think it's as staggering as, you probably think. I think at the end of the day, we are just doing a job and putting the ball in the hole. So we're just kind of figuring out a new way for myself of how to fit into this group. But as you said, it's a new team, so it's not like I'm really changing my game plan. We've all been recruited for one way and we're all just working together.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. Wes, over to you.
Thanks very much, Ben. Hello, Gemma. Welcome to Geelong.
Thank you.
It's exciting to have you in town. Can you tell me about your most recent NBL 1 South season and how that prepared you, given the fact that you've spoken extensively about your injuries in the past and obviously just working your way back into the game? Obviously, you had a stunning season with the Eagles in NBL 1 South. So how did that develop your game across the course of that season in preparation for your WNBL season with Geelong United?
Yeah, it was good. I think anytime stepping onto the court and not getting injured is a little win for me. I'm slowly getting out of that mindset of it, thinking, congratulating myself for not doing an ACL. So I'm finally out of that mindset and just enjoying basketball. But yeah, another 6 months of playing and getting the feel for the game is exactly what I needed heading into this season.
Please just dig down a little bit deeper with regard to your knowledge of Chris Lucas, your relationship with him, and perhaps what his expectations are for you coming into this season.
Yeah, I haven't really had much to do with Chris prior. He'd coached some national teams, but I was too young to be a part of them. So obviously been in the pathway that he coached in for a very long time and he was very successful in. So I knew what he could do as a coach and I was really excited to come here. I think for expectations, we're not too sure what that looks like at the moment. We still have 2 weeks to figure that out. So hopefully we can do that by then. But yeah, just having fun with it. I think we all play our best and the whole team is a really fun team. So when we all have fun out there, it looks really good.
Thanks very much, Gemma.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Well, there's no more hands up at the moment, so if anyone has any additional questions, you can feel free to jump back in. Meg, we'll go over to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to drill down a little bit further about, joining a team which is starting from the ground up, what that's like, what the feeling is like, and how it compares to being on other teams. Can you sort of describe what that's like?
Yeah, we actually sat down in a meeting early in pre-season with the CEO of Geelong United, and we went through our values. I think it was pretty special just to hear how important basketball is to this community, and especially female athletes, and how we are really trying to rise that and get more participation. So I think when you can kind of build something from the ground and be a part of that, this is going down in history, and this will be something that we will remember for the rest of our lives, stepping onto that court in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, I think just the importance of growing this game, especially for female athletes, is going to be really special.
Has there been a bit of connection too from players of the past coming forward, supporting you, sharing experiences of the past? Have you been aware of that? Like just former Geelong players, NBL
Not too many. I think, not too many players.
No. Okay. And I guess, working under Chris, is there something that's really stood out and surprised you about how he goes about things? In the past, you're watching him from afar, but now you're, working under him. Is there anything that's really sort of surprised you about how he operates?
I don't think surprise. I think the genuine care that he has for his players has been something that's definitely stood out for me on and off the court. Obviously, as an opponent player, you don't get to see that off-court side of him. You really just see the 40 minutes that he's standing on the opposite bench. But yeah, getting to know Chris, getting him to know us in our lives has been pretty special, and definitely know that he'll be there for us no matter what we need throughout the season, which is cool.
Yeah, no worries. And just one last one, you mentioned it before, though. Could you just clarify who those 4 players were that you'd had that previous, lengthy experience with?
Jazz Shelley, Taylor Moe, and Alyssa Brett.
Cool. Thanks very much for your time. Good luck with the season.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. There's no other hands up in the chat at the moment, so if everyone's good to go, we might transition over to our next player for this afternoon. It was a pretty exciting signing for us to be able to announce this young lady as our inaugural signing for the season, which was fantastic. No stranger to Geelong as well, playing a previous NBL 1 season for us back in the day too. It's Jazz Shelley. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So if anyone's got questions for Jazz, chuck those hands up and we'll get on to the next questions. Vinny, going straight to you.
Awesome. Hi, Jazz. Nice to meet you. As Ben touched on there, inaugural Geelong United signing. When that pitch was kind of delivered to you as being that first face to be revealed to the public, how did that sit with you? Was it a bit of a privilege? Was it kind of a full circle moment given your history with the club? I mean, how did you feel when that all got solidified and signed at the time?
Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity that was really hard to turn down. It actually came in late in my recruiting process because I thought I had made my mind up, but then I heard that Geelong were going to have their first ever team, and that was something that was really, really hard to pass up. Being here, knowing the community and playing here before, it was something that was all too exciting for me.
Are you able to say where you were looking at playing prior to that Geelong United pitch that they had fielded to you?
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of teams. I was really keen on Bendigo and Townsville.
Awesome. And you came late into the NBL 1 season, I believe, with Ballarat. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you kind of gotten a bit of a taste for that recently, a taste for that regional feel. In terms of Geelong and what this city has to offer, how excited are you just based off of your time back here and preparing for round 1?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I'm a Vic Country girl, as you can tell. I went from Ballarat to Geelong. I just love being able to support regional towns, and this felt like home to me, and it feels like a home to a lot of the other girls that have already come in here. So we're really excited to be able to promote the program in the right way and step out in Game 1 in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. And now, pretty fresh off of your collegiate career, but I believe you do have some previous WNBL experience with the Melbourne Boomers. How does it feel for you returning back to the WNBL full time? And I guess, apart from the obvious, how much of a different player have you become after those 4 or 5 years away in the States?
Very, very different player. I was very young and scrawny and still in high school, so definitely a much different player. Being able to have that experience at 18 years old was something that I'll always remember. It's something that I've been excited to come back into the league because it was such a good time. But right now it's just trying to better myself and play against the best players in Australia, and I'm just super excited for the challenge.
And do you have any kind of long-term aspirations being back here in Australia? I know you were recently drafted to the WNBA as well. I mean, how are you feeling moving forward? And I guess what are your long-term objectives at this point in time?
Yeah, I would say my mind's like just super focused on all Australian stuff at the moment. It would be a dream to be in the Opals and playing in Olympic Games. So that's kind of where my head's at, and hopefully everything else can take care of itself.
Awesome. And just last one from me. The WNBL hasn't given you guys an easy start to the season, going up against the two reigning defending champions. So how do you guys look forward to embracing that challenge? And what's been Chris Lucas's messaging heading into a new season, trying to get off on that right foot?
Yeah, we're really just focusing on ourselves for the most part. And I mean, I think it's pretty cool to be the underdogs. Like first time in the league, does anyone really like expect us to win much? But like, I think our team is all on board and we're all super confident in our abilities. Every individual brings something different to the team, and I'm super excited to go and shock some people.
Thank you, Vinny. Megan, Ben, over to you.
Hey, Jazz. Just wanted to touch, I guess, back on what you said, obviously focusing a lot on the Australian side, but I guess how did it feel, earlier in the season, earlier in the year, you were drafted into the WNBA. What was that experience like to obviously work within the Mercury for a little bit? And how tough is it, I guess, in that league, competing for spots at this point in their kind of setup? How tough is that?
Yeah, it was definitely an unreal experience. That was a dream of mine since I was really young, was to get my name called and get drafted. So that was a really special moment that I got to share with my teammates and my family that was in Nebraska. But yeah, it is tough. I mean, there's only very few roster spots and a lot of girls at training camp. But I pretty much just did everything that I could, and I just learnt so much from being in that environment, and also learnt what I need to work on to hopefully get back in there one day. But it was just really cool to be around some of the names that you just see on TV. It's like, wow, they really are like real people and they really care about you. So it was really cool to be a part of that atmosphere.
Yeah, so something that I guess excites you, the expansion is kind of coming towards the WNBA in the next couple of seasons, Golden State next year, and then a couple more after that. Is that exciting, I guess, that potentially that there is that option down the track that more roster spots will be open there?
Yeah, that's huge. That's really exciting. I think a lot of girls missed out that have the capabilities of being in that league. So I'm really excited that more people get an opportunity.
So, coming back here and last in the league in 2019, rookie of the year that time. Expecting, obviously, I think about 5 years now since that time. But what are you expecting from the league and how it has kind of grown since you have been away?
Yeah, I think it's a super exciting time to be in the league right now. We have a lot of talent. I mean, just the imports that they brought in, a super exciting group. And I think now having the TV coverage just keeps getting better and better. I think it's super exciting to be a part of it. And I'm super excited to be able to showcase Geelong and promote this town.
To kind of go into that professional side of your career and being in Australia, the talent here, whether it's homegrown or imports coming in, how tough do you feel like this league is going to be and how it can kind of progress your basketball going up against the caliber of talent in the league?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the talent is unreal. There's some vets out there that even practice games was pushing me around and stuff. It is a really high level league, and that's why I'm so excited to be here, is because I want to be able to play against the best. And I truly do believe that Australians have the best basketball players in the world. So this is one of the best leagues in the world. So nothing better than also being where I'm from. So it's really exciting to be back in Australia and play against the best of the best.
One more, what's it like to be back in Australia, back around family, friends? How have you settled in since about May to be back on home soil and just be back in Australia? It's
different. Yeah, it's so nice to be able to have my whole family come to my games. They haven't been there for the last 5 years, so it's really cool to be able to have them in the stands and just drive an hour to go and see my sister or my brother. And it's something that was really important for me to come back home and be around them.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Paul, over to you.
Hey, Jazz, good to see you again. I think it's been about 4 months or so since we had you on Shooting the Breeze. And it's kind of cool because we got to talk to you about what was coming up with Geelong. And I remember one of the things you said was that you were looking forward to seeing what the club was going to do to promote themselves in amongst the community. Having had the opportunity to see, how do you feel about the way the club's been promoting itself amongst the community in Geelong?
Yeah, it's been really special. I think just being able to partner with the other sporting teams that are here and do things together, but also the camps. They're running a bunch of camps. There's a lot of kids running around, and we're going to do more and more to try and get girls promoted, get girls playing basketball, get girls playing any sort of sport. So that's one thing that the club has already spoken to us about. So we're super excited to get involved in that, and I know our team's going to do a lot to help with it.
That's great. As a first-time team in the league, have you guys been talking amongst yourselves about what sort of goal you're looking for this season? I mean, obviously everybody wants to go to the big dance and get the chip, but, you know, have you guys been talking about those sorts of goals?
Hasn't necessarily been goal meetings. We've done a lot of team value meetings and stuff to decision-making process and how we want to tackle this season and what it looks like for us as basketball players and also in the community. Haven't necessarily talked goals, but I know if you ask every single person on the team, there's no reason why we can't win a championship. I'm not going to put that out there, but I think that everyone is super confident in our abilities, and we're just super excited. But no, not exact like we want to get this achieved, but I think that everyone on our team is very confident.
And last one. Chris Lucas, if you don't know him and if you haven't sort of spent time around him, he comes across very gruff to people, right, from the outside, and he doesn't say a lot either. How do you find, you know, you've obviously spent a lot of time with Chris during these last few months. How do you find Chris is different from his image?
Yeah, he's a very direct guy, which we love it. I mean, he's already spoke to us about where it comes from and the way he shows his face, and he's like, it's normally my thinking face. So he's a very smart man. He's a very direct man, and I think that he's built a lot of trust and respect amongst our whole team because we realize the place that it's coming from. But he's also making all of us better. Like, he holds every single person on our team accountable. He wants to make us better. He knows what I want to get better at, and he's making sure I do that in practice. So I love it. Like, I know there's a lot of people who can't be coached by directing this, but I think everyone on our team is super happy with what we're getting right now.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jazz. Can't wait to see you on the court.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. Wes, over to you.
Thanks, Ben. Hello, Jazz. Welcome to Geelong. You've alluded to the fact that you come from a family who are very much immersed in the whole basketball scene. I'm just wondering if you could elaborate as to the role that your parents played just in instilling values and not only your skills clearly, but just the encouragement they've provided throughout the course of your career to help you attain your goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I definitely very open with my parents. I've had the goal to play for Australian Great Olympic Games since I was about 12. So my dad's always the one that's like, why not, sort of thing. So they've been very encouraging in whatever pathway that is for me, whatever I want to do. Like, they support me no matter what. So they're just really excited that I'm here right now, and they're always in my corner. So it's super cool to be able to play in front of them now.
Thanks, Jazz.
Thank you, Wes. Megan, Ben, back to you again.
Just wanted to ask, in terms of obviously Opals being a goal for you, what do you see as the steps that you do need to maybe take to kind of get there one day, whether that's on or off the court?
Yeah, I think that I need to be more of a lockdown defender, be more physical defender and finishing around the paint, and then consistency in my three-point shot. But pretty much just play my game, but just tighten up some loose ends that I think I need to work on.
Just want to ask as well, just with the start of the season, a lot of kind of home games, particularly early in the fixture. How important is that, A, to, I guess, building the excitement and the fan base to have those early home games, but then potentially also if you can get some early wins as well at home as well?
Yeah, I think it's, as much as our schedule isn't the best in the league, I think that it's really cool that we're able to play at home for the first two games against some very talented top-end teams. I think that we're going to have some of the best crowds here in Geelong, so I'm super excited that we get to experience that very, very soon. I think it lined up all right to be able to have our first games at home. And I don't think we leave the state for the first month, so I think it's good that our schedule gets a little tougher towards the back end of the season, and we're kind of slowly easing into some home games and close-by games to start with. Is
it the interstate or the opponents that are the toughest stretches, or what kind of do you see as being a bit of a rougher fixture?
Well, I think every stretch is going to be tough, but I think not having to travel is something that's going to be helpful just to start with. But every single team we're going to come up against is going to be very, very tough. There's no team that you can take for granted.
And Vinny, coming to you to wrap us up.
Yeah, so just kind of following off a little bit of what Meg raised in terms of those early home court advantages, just talking more generally about the atmosphere that the Geelong Arena can provide. I mean, aside from you, Sarah Ellsworthy is probably the best player that can kind of describe it. But based off of your memories and your previous games down here in Geelong, what is that atmosphere like as someone on the court as opposed to being someone in the stands? Mm-hmm. And I guess something that is kind of raised a lot during the NBL 1 season is it can kind of focus an opposing team as well. What kind of a knife's edge are you riding there in terms of what that crowd can offer? And and in your own words, try and describe it to the best of your ability.
Yeah, it can definitely get loud. I know they have unreal light shows. The Jumbotron is right in the middle. It also feels like they're kind of on top of you, like the stands are a little higher and it doesn't go back as far, but it feels like they're kind of on top. So it feels like they're right there, which is a really cool experience. And hopefully we can pack it out as much as we can every game.
Thanks, Jazz, for popping on.
Thanks, Jazz.
We'll move on to the next person, which is also a very exciting one for us. One of our big import signings for the season, fresh from a season in the WNBA with the Atlanta Dream, and also someone who is, I guess, no stranger to being behind a microphone with a podcast of her own. It's Hayley Jones. Hello, nice to have you here.
Hi, thank you.
So if you want to ask Hayley any questions, pop those hands up. We'll get to the first one as soon as you're ready to go. Meg and Ben, coming to you.
Hi, Hayley. I'm Meg from the Geelong Addy. How are you going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can I ask, obviously, had seen you flew over a couple of days ago, was it? Or when did you kind of touch down in Australia in Geelong?
I touched down Tuesday morning, and then I came straight to the scrimmage.
How are you finding it? Obviously not a short window, but how are you finding it so far?
It's great. I'm from a small beach town in California, and so this feels like an Australian Santa Cruz for me. So it's really nice hometown vibes. The beach is beautiful. The community's great. So just finding my way around.
What drew you to coming to the WNBL and Geelong in particular as well?
I've always wanted to play overseas. I think it's just such an exciting experience, not only to explore just a new place and get to travel the world, but also really just get to expand my skill set and play a different type of basketball, learn from different people. So yeah, this is always something I wanted to do, and I think Geelong is the perfect place to start that for me.
So a lot of people, the girls in the WNBA do go overseas, Australia, over to Europe. Have you spoken much, I guess, to any teammates or people in the league about where was maybe the right fit with Australia or kind of Europe, or just getting that first kind of step into overseas basketball?
Yeah, a lot of my teammates at the Dream have actually played in the WNBL, whether it be Nas and Jordan Canada last year with the Boomers, or Nia Coffey has played, and I want to say a few other people on the Dream, but nothing but good things to say about not only how the WNBL is ran, but just a high-level competition. Every single team is great. There's not going to be any easy games. It's up for grabs every night, and so just to be able to compete at that level is really exciting.
So obviously, with Jordan, she played under Chris Lucas as well. Had she said anything about obviously coming to play under him?
Yeah, all good things. I think just that has a very high basketball IQ. And so just being able to have conversation with him, give him my thoughts, same from him, really just receiving all the knowledge that he has to give and try to absorb everything. Even just, I had my first practice with the team today, and just getting to see how he runs the team and how engaged everybody is. It's really exciting. I think we're going to have a great season.
So coming off a really successful collegiate career at Stanford, now two years in the NBA, how have you felt, I guess, yourself settle into that with the Dream in the last couple of years, and how you've kind of been able to take your basketball to the next steps each year, and what do you feel like you can kind of bring to this team and this league?
Yeah, I think every year I continue to grow my game. I played a lot of different positions. Stanford playing 1 through 4 with the Dream, really just predominantly playing point guard. And so now coming here, getting to kind of do it all again, playing point guard. I think this team is really fun. We play with a lot of pace. Everybody's a shooter. Everybody can kind of do everything. So it's been really fun getting to understand everyone's games, where I can hit them where they like to be. But yeah, I think I'm really just looking to expand my game this year, get back to playing like myself, playing in transition, looking to score, involving my teammates. So I think this opportunity is great.
So one more from me as well. Obviously, you said you do have a podcast. I've also seen a few social media posts in the last couple of days, obviously documenting kind of coming over to
Yes.
Australia. Is that something you excited to kind of like, continue to do over here, or be immersed in that side and documenting the season here?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's so fun just to capture the journey and the content that comes with being here. I've had some hiccups with my car already, just getting it on the wrong side, but, I'm figuring it out. It was smooth sailing after that. But yes, the podcast gear did make it. So maybe I'll get some teammates on it, some other people in the league, maybe a WNBL edition. So I'm excited just to explore.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Vinny, over to you.
Awesome. Hi, Hayley. How you going?
Hi.
It's funny you mentioned, I guess, it being a bit similar to Santa Cruz down here in Australia. I mean, we've even got the Ferris wheel to match too.
Mm-hmm.
How have you liked it down here to this point? I think you've actually caught the start of some really good weather. So how excited are you to move in? How has the move in been to this point? And I guess what's the living situation like? Who have you shacked up with to start the season?
Yeah, it's great. Everybody is extremely welcoming. Got picked up at the airport, made it straight to the scrimmage, got to meet everybody. So just kind of thrown right into the fire, but I wouldn't want it any other way. Yesterday, I got to explore the town a little bit, went grocery shopping for the first time. So I was like facing my mom, finding all the new brands and what means what. And it's like baking carbonate or something is baking soda. I don't know, figuring it out. But yeah, I think it's been great. The adjustment has been really easy with the community I've already been surrounded with here. So yeah, it's been nice.
Awesome. And you touched on, I guess, a few of your teammates or a few of your former clubmates in the WNBA having played in Australia previously. What were some of the things that they were saying in terms of the league and more specifically the play style? And I guess touching on what you said just a little bit earlier, where would you like to, I guess, focus the most of your improvement on your game in 24-25?
Yeah, it's been nothing but good things about the WNBL, especially talking to Jordan and Nas specifically, and Ari McDonald about their time in it last season. So it's cool to get to talk to them from different team perspectives. But specific to Jordan and Nas playing under Coach Chris, nothing but good things to say. High intensity practices, just has a lot of knowledge to give, and so I'm really excited to soak all that up. And I think it's just like having the opportunity to really hone in on playing the point guard and seeing the floor, learning a new system, understanding the reads, really getting to know my teammates, to know where they like to play, where they like to ball, and then also implementing my own playing style on them. So I'm really looking forward to just growing my point guard game, but also getting back to playing some actions out of the high post and playing in different positions. So it's going to be a lot this upcoming season, a lot of movement.
Awesome. And obviously being a developing player, kind of entering the peak of your career, which we hope will be very long lasting. But you would have, I guess, seen a few offers out there in terms of taking your game overseas. How much of a factor was kind of this inaugural journey for this new club in that decision, in terms of almost a clean slate here for Geelong United, and I guess making an immediate impact from the first game? How much of an impact was that decision for you?
Yeah, I think it was a big impact. It's a really exciting opportunity to get to come and be part of the foundational team and set the standard for years to come with what Chris and the rest of the staff here are going to start. I mean, everywhere that they've gone, they've been amazing, and they have the crazy win percentages. And so to get to bring that here, just with the culture that they already have of women's sports and great sports here in Geelong. So I'm excited to be a part of that and set the standard here. Yeah.
And obviously a big trip over to Australia. Mm-hmm. So you'd be pretty grateful that a lot of the first few games are going to be either here in Geelong or in Victoria. So travel's at a bit of a minimum to start the season, which you should, I guess, be grateful for. Mm-hmm. But is the expectation in that first game of the season Is it to win, or is it to kind of figure out, I guess, where everyone's kind of sitting at the moment, or is it from the get-go that you guys are really trying to, I guess, climb that ladder as early as possible and use that lack of travel to the best of your advantage?
Yeah, I mean, we're a team full of competitors, so I think our expectation is always to win. I don't think anybody at this level would enter a game being like, oh, let's get one under the belt. No, we're coming out to win, take every single game. I think that we have the talent to do so. I think we're a young team, and so we're still learning one another and getting together because it is a completely new team built from ground up. And so I don't think that that's any excuse. I think we're taking that as a challenge and we're taking it in stride. So it's really exciting to play with this group. And yeah, we're looking to win every game.
Thank you, Vinny. Paul, over to you.
Hey, Hayley, welcome to Australia. I'm really curious, how have you found the differences between the US and Geelong, particularly coming from Atlanta to Geelong? Must be pretty different for you.
Yeah, there's a few differences. So far, one, really great positive. Everybody is a lot nicer here as a driver than in Atlanta. Atlanta, nobody lets you in. Everybody's cutting you off, honking, a lot of profanities being said. And then the other day, this morning, this car saw me waiting forever, and they were so nice, and they let me over, and it was just such a nice exchange. So everybody's great. This one car started me struggling when I was first learning how to drive, and my neighbor was helping me out. So everybody's just so nice here, which I really appreciate. It reminds me of my own hometown. But I think, yeah, that's a difference specifically from Atlanta. And then I think just, understanding different brands, different lingo. I asked for a coffee to go, and they were like, girl, it's takeaway. So just little things like that.
So has anybody offered you Vegemite yet?
Carly offered me Vegemite. I have yet to have it. Paul Goris, one of our coaches in Atlanta, described it to me as super salty. So I'll try it. I'm not a picky eater. I did not get it on my first grocery run, but if somebody offers it, I'll have it.
Okay, look, you got to report back on that one. I mean,
okay.
So look, the other thing is, from college years, obviously here in Australia, we've had a lot of players come across from Stanford and play in the WNBL. Did you hear anything from the college about, Australia and the WNBL and the level of competition here?
At Stanford, I didn't hear as much about the WNBL, more so just the overall basketball culture. We had Alana Smith was there the year before I came, and then I got to play 3 years with Agnes Eminopu, so that was awesome. But just talking about the basketball culture here and all, just the high level, I played against some of the girls on the team right now at the World Cup back when we were tiny, back 16, played against Gemma, saw Jazz at Oregon. So just, I feel like I have some experience with it. But yeah, it's just a really high level. There's just certain things that are like Aussie things that we would always get on Agnes about at practice, whether it be kind of like the throwdown crossover on the wing or just random little things. So it's cool to get to witness that in person and try to add some of those things to my own bag.
Great to have you here, Hayley. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Megan, Ben, back over to you.
You just touched on it then. Obviously, having seen players like Jazz at Oregon, or did you know in terms of playing against or with players, has that been, I guess, helpful in terms of if you didn't know someone personally that you maybe knew a little bit about how they played or what you were kind of coming into?
Yeah, for sure. I'm chronically online, so I feel like I kind of stalked everybody before I got here on Instagram, I don't know, just different things to try to, I feel like I missed so much, missing almost a month of camp. And so I was really, any little thing that I could find, I was watching highlights from who knows when, but I feel like I was trying to pick up just different playing styles, because I feel like playing point guard, you really have to understand where your teammates like to play and get them in those positions to look their best. And so trying to pick up any other thing I can about their playing style, their go-tos, high frequency moves. So I think that's helped a lot in my one day with them, really.
So I was like, how hard is it, like, say, to miss a chunk of the camp, but obviously a professional would come in and pick it up as quickly as you can? How do you kind of approach those type of challenges just to come in? Obviously, I think it's just under 2 weeks to the first game, but that you are able to gel into the team as quickly as you can?
Yeah, I think it can be hard. It really just depends on the situation you're walking into, but I think I'm walking into an amazing situation. The team is great, girls, the staff, everybody's very welcoming. Really just so great with teaching me everything, having patience, answering all my questions, and I think also just coming with the mindset to be a sponge and take in all the knowledge that I can about what they've already done, the sets that they put in, just different things like that, trying to pick up on defensive things, trying to be a communicator, just put myself out there so that they know that I'm going to give them everything I have as well. So yeah.
It seemed to, like, United's brought another kind of professional women's team to Geelong. We do have the AFL, Geelong Cats. Do you know much about AFL, or obviously it's like the women's team is playing currently?
I don't know all the rules about AFL. I watched a championship game with Agnes a few years ago, and she had me going blind. And I was like, okay, so we're throwing people in the air, we're drop kicking, tackling, no pads. But I guess I'll figure it out because I want to go to a game and experience that. But it looks awesome. Me personally, I would never play. If somebody tackled me, I feel like I would not want to keep playing. So, yeah.
So maybe the Cats can get you over in the next couple of weeks?
No, the Cats do not need to get me over there. I will watch from the sidelines and cheer them on. Don't you worry.
Well, with 30 seconds left in Hayley's time, if anyone's got a quick one to pop in before we wrap it up, we've still got a little bit of time to do so. But if there's no more from everyone, we might wrap it up right there. But yeah, thanks again for jumping on, and we hope to have more of these happening in the future, and we'll hopefully see you then. Thanks.